2 flights missed in 2 days. Cost me $450 to fix up my mistakes. I've had the worst run of bad luck and I cannot wait to tell you all about it in this video. Hey everyone, my name's Paul Thompson. I have got the most hilarious story to tell you for the vlog today. All about how I missed 2 flights in 2 days, costing me $450 to rectify the situation. It started on Tuesday morning. I had a 7 a.m. flight departing Cairns, going to Melbourne. I slept through my alarm. I never sleep through alarms. I am the most organised, punctual person, and I woke up at 6 a.m, needed to get to the airport. My brother-in-law sped to the airport as quickly as we possibly could. I ran into the terminal. The night before, I tried to check in online. Couldn't check in. Said it was an unknown error or something like that. Got to the airport, tried to do it on the self-service check-ins. Couldn't check in. I thought this was really weird. Ran up to the counter. The guy at the counter says to me, excuse me, did you just come from Japan? It was way too early in the morning to have to be trying to work out what the heck he was talking about. No, I didn't just come from Japan. He said, oh, I'm really, really sorry. This was a connecting international flight going from Japan through Cairns to Melbourne. So you needed to be at the international airport. You're at the domestic airport, you've missed your flight. I thought, great. How fantastic. What an awesome start today. Missed my alarm first, then missed my flight. So, for a $50 payment, he transferred the flight to the next available, and I got to spend a couple of hours at the Cairns airport, working and eating some breakfast. So I guess that was a win. I made it down to Melbourne, no worries at all. As I was sitting on the plane on the tarmac in Cairns, it was really odd. Like, it's 32 degrees Celsius, so quite hot up in Cairns at the moment, and all of these people were walking on the plane with jackets and hoodies and jumpers. I thought, what is going on? It is so hot. I quickly whipped out my phone to just check on what the temperature was in Melbourne. They were down to single digits. I did not pack a single warm thing in my suitcase at all. So, naturally, got off the plane on the tarmac in Melbourne and I was freezing. My teeth were chattering like walking from the plane to the terminal. Got in there, stayed nice and cozy and warm, managed to grab a bus into the city, and first thing I did was check in. That was great. I thought my luck has changed. At the counter, they gave me an upgrade to this really beautiful room up on the penthouse level. It was like a dream come true. I thought, wow, fate. Wow, world, isn't that kind of you? I missed my flight and now you're giving me an upgrade. That's so really thoughtful of you. I settled down, packed all my things away, and decided that I needed to go find a jacket or a hoodie because it was pretty cold. So I walked down to a mall and I went into a big clothing store there, H&M, I think they're over in the UK, maybe not in the US. This clothing store was a man-made maze. Someone had built this store to trap people inside of it. It was full of mirrors and clothes and all of these different stories and levels that looked exactly the same. To be honest, I probably spent like a 6-minute time period where I was absolutely lost. Like, genuinely could not find my way out of where I was. The problem is they usually have like the escalators in normal apartments. They have like the up and down escalators like next to each other, and you can kind of like, oh, if this one's going down, right next to it there's one going up, and you can kind of, get your bearings that way. Nuh-uh, not in this store. There was like one escalator going down there, and then there was another escalator right over the other side, hidden behind a wall going up the other way. At one stage, I found a good vantage point. I was up on a balcony, I could see down there, and I thought, okay, that's where I need to go. So I went walking down a staircase. It got me to a semi-half level down. There was no other staircase down, so I was stuck on this semi-half level, looking back at the escalator where I should be. I couldn't get there. I was running out of time. The event was about to start. I finally found my way out of that store. I still didn't buy a jacket. I had spent so long trying to work out where I was and how to get out that I didn't have enough time to buy anything warm. Doesn't matter. I went back to the hotel, got ready, did the event. It was really fun. It was such a good night. The next day, woke up and went and had some lunch in this nice little funky Melbourne laneway. I was having the time of my life. I was eating like this nice bowl of gnocchi, and I had a coffee, and I felt very city and very Melbourne, just a little fancy restaurant. And I was on the phone talking to some family and friends and things like that. My flight left at 2:30 p.m. and I was on the phone to my brother, and he said, what time's your flight? And I was like, oh yeah, 2:30. I looked at my phone and it was 10 to 2. I don't know how it happened. To this day, I still don't know where the time went. I don't know how I got so late. I frantically smashed the next 3 spoonfuls of gnocchi, sculled back the mouthful of coffee that I had left, and jumped in an Uber. The lady in the car, she was really sweet. Like, she was breaking the law. She was speeding to get there. She said it's going to take 30 minutes. By the time I got in the Uber, it was 2 p.m. We had 30 minutes to get to the Melbourne airport, and I was already checked in at that stage, which was good. So you can imagine this grown man, a laptop bag in one hand, carry-on suitcase in the other, and I am sprinting my hardest through this airport. I think I knocked over 2 kids in the process. The bags are going everywhere. I was at gate number 450,000 because that's how far away it was. By the time I got there, I had beads of sweat coming off me. I was panting so hard I could hardly breathe. And this was not the most embarrassing part. I ran down to the gate, got down to the boarding gate, and the flight was just getting taxied out. Like, it was just getting nudged out by their little, I don't know, what do you call them, car things. 4 minutes, I missed the flight by. If that wasn't bad enough, when I got to the gate, the company, the airline, was having a training session for these cadet airline hosts. There was 16 of them in their fluoro jacket vests, looking at the gate there, doing all this practicing. The lady with the clipboard who was running the event turned and looked at me and said, "Mr. Thompson, how embarrassing was that?" I was the guy that they were calling out. "Mr. Thompson, final boarding call," 100 times. All of the airline cadets are standing there thinking oh yeah, this is the guy that's holding up the plane for everyone. It was so bad. Words cannot describe the feeling of puffed out, sweating, panting, embarrassment, anger, frustration, the range of emotions. She said, "You can go along to the counter over here and make alternative arrangements for another flight." I was like, okay, no worries. I went to the counter. On the way to the airport, I had a sneaking suspicion that I was going to miss my flight. I mean, I pretty much knew I wasn't going to get there. I had a look at booking other flights as an alternative. The range of price that I could sort it from cheapest to most expensive was $800 to $1,200. I almost cried in the Uber. Some random lady's Uber. There I was crying at these flights. There was no way I was going to pay that. So when I got to the counter, I started talking to her. She was really kind and said I didn't have to book a whole new flight. She could transfer me to the next available for a $50 fee yet again. Second $50 fee. The next available flight wasn't until 6 a.m. the next day. So here I was, stuck in the Melbourne airport, needed somewhere to stay. I thought about doing that Tom Hanks movie where he's stuck in the airport and just going and staying down in Departures Lounge, but that didn't end up happening. I jumped online to book an apartment. It didn't matter whether I booked a room in the heart of the Melbourne CBD or if I booked a room right out near the airport. They were all around the same price. $300 I paid for a room to stay overnight in Melbourne because I had missed the second flight in 2 days. At this stage, I'm a broken man. I am so done with life. I'm spent. My patience level has gone. I've forked out all this money. I've missed 2 flights. All I want to do is get back to the room and do some work. That's all I want to do. Because I paid for such an expensive, crazy, only room left available in Melbourne on the night, it came with these airport transfers. So they would come and pick me up in a vehicle and drive me to the accommodation. I thought, that's great. I booked it up. They said, yep, we'll be there shortly. Just go and wait at the public pickup area. So I'm sitting at the public pickup area, and a good 20 minutes, 25 minutes goes by, and I get a phone call. Hi, Mr. Thompson. We're waiting for you at the pickup area. Where are you? I said, wait, what? I'm here. I can't see you at all. Oh, where's here? I told them where I was. Oh, I'm really sorry. They said you're at the wrong place. Like, you need to go down to where the coaches and accommodation pickup is. So I said, okay then, no worries. So I started walking. I could not see any signs at all outside of this terminal. Now, at the domestic Melbourne airport, there are 4 terminals. That's how big it is. I was at terminal number 4. By the time I got to the end of my adventure, I had gone past Terminal 3, past Terminal 2, and all the way down to Terminal 1. I had walked for 1,000 kilometres to get to where I thought I needed to be for this airport transfers to pick me up. They were the only signs to follow, so that's where I went. Another 20 minutes goes by after the walk. I get another phone call. Mr. Thompson, how did you go in finding the pickup area? We're still here waiting. Yeah, we'd love to see you soon. Missed 2 flights. Paid $300 for the room. Now $100 in missed flight fees. 2 phone calls trying to find the pickup transfer to get to my hotel. Over an hour now I've been at the airport trying to leave the place, and I'm at the wrong place again. I'm really loving the day so far. Like, I'm having a great time in Melbourne. Like, the best time ever. I think I get to the point where I need to ask some help. So I start walking back towards where I was, in front of Terminal 4, so a long way away. And a lot of the airport staff have their fluoro vests on. And then I saw one guy, and he was pushing one of the luggage trolleys, and he had a fluoro vest on. I tapped him on the shoulder, and before he could say hello, so I tapped him on the shoulder. Before he said hello, I said, "Excuse me, sir, do you know where the coach pickup is for the accommodation?" As if my day couldn't get any worse, he says, "Sorry, mate, I don't work here. Yeah." It was the most awkward conversation. That stopped there. He didn't work there. He was just a construction worker with a fluoro vest who happened to be putting back a luggage trolley. I had asked some random guy for help, thinking he was an airport staff member. This day was just an incredible day. Like, if anything else could go wrong, I don't know how I survived. I finally got back to where I was in the first time. I found the van. Just to add a little, knife in the back there, I was literally 20 meters away from where I needed to be originally when I was waiting for the van, over an hour ago. I was just upstairs. All I needed to go was downstairs. Instead, I walked so far away to try and find this van. On the way to the accommodation, I asked the driver, I said, "Look, is there any restaurants or cafes or anything around the accommodation? Because at this stage, I have been booking flights, looking for vans, asking random people for help at the airport. I am so hungry, I'm chewing the handle of my luggage bag. I'm eating my clothes." I say, "Can I get some food?" And she's like, "I'm really sorry, we don't really have any restaurants out there because they're out in the middle of nowhere near the airport." She said, "We can transfer you to a shopping centre and pick you up from there." I said, "That's fantastic. Yeah, send me there now." So I went to the shops, got some food, and she said, "Just give us a call. We're 10 minutes away when you're ready to be picked up." I was like, "Sweet, this is good. I'm finally getting somewhere. I've got food, I've got supplies." I gave her a call. 10 minutes. I'll be in the same place I was when you dropped me off. See you shortly. Another 45 minutes later, I ring back the accommodation. I'm like, "I'm so sorry. I'm waiting here to be picked up. I think they might have forgotten me. Can I get, a lift home?" They said, yep, no worries. We've just had to drop someone off at the airport. We'll be there shortly. This was right around peak hour time. The traffic was bumper to bumper. It would have been quicker for me to walk my baggage and food through the Melbourne motorway to this unit than to wait for the bus. I waited for the bus. Happy days. They picked me up, got back to the unit, had some food, worked, and got a good night's sleep. I set the alarm for very, very early on Thursday morning to fly home. It was a 6 a.m. flight, so I had to be there at like 5 a.m. So I set my alarm for 4 or 4:30 a.m. I woke up through the alarm, so that's good. So yes, we're winning at life there. I woke up, I got to the airport on time, had a little bit of breakfast, which was really cool. Then I was lining up for the airport. And there's a queue, so we wrap around in a queue. You know how like it folds around those little lanes, those ropes? Well, there was like a line that was 3 deep to the door. So there was, against the wall, there were 2 lines, and then there was me, and then there's like the whole like footpath, like the traffic of the airport terminal. You know what's about to happen. You know that it's like, surely, Paul, things couldn't get worse for you, mate. Like, you've just had the worst run in the world. Is it really going to get worse? Yes. Yes, it is going to get worse. Along comes this airport staff member with a set of scales on wheels, and he's walking along the line weighing people's bags, because there's a weight limit to check on bags. I had my little carry-on suitcase and my laptop bag. Sure enough, he pulls me over. He says, "Sir, bags on the scales, thanks. I need to weigh them. The limit is 7 kilos. I was at 9.5. He looks up at me, he says, "You're going to need to step with me." Unclips the security belt thing on the laneway. He says, "Can you please step with me? You're going to have to come down to the counter. You'll be charged $50 and you'll have to check in your bag." I don't know what I did. I don't know how many mirrors I had broken. That 48-hour chunk has just been an incredible challenge. Now, I'm not angry. I'm a little bit disappointed. I'm a little bit annoyed. Most of all, I think it's a joke. Like, I think it is hilarious. It's basically a movie. Like, if you wanted to write a main character into a film and you're like, gee, how can we make the audience think that this character's life sucks? And then that was me. Like, there was just one thing after another that went wrong. It was relentless. It was a great learning experience. Let's put it that way. So, 3 lots of $50 is $150 plus $300 for the room. So we're up to $450 because I missed 2 flights in 2 days. I would love to hear if you have had a similar experience with airlines, or if you've had some relentless, crazy, not fair experience that you've gone through. Please let me know in the comments below or reach out to me on any of my socials. If you've got any other funny stories that you'd like to share or unfortunate happenings that have happened to you this last week, please, I would love to feel a little bit better out of my ridiculous situation. Let's chat. Let us know in the comments below. I am absolutely grateful to share that my subscribers have now grown to 51, I think, as of today. So I am halfway through my challenge. If you want to know about my experiment that I'm doing in growing a YouTube channel, you can find that video, if you haven't already seen it, on my channel page when you land there. If you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe. That would be absolutely awesome. I would completely love it. And if you liked this video or you wanted to share your love and appreciation for how empathetic or how sad you feel for me, please give this video a thumbs up. That would be awesome too. Thank you so much for watching along. I really appreciate it. I'll see you again next week. Bye.